Oh, you thought it was over? Sup, peeps? It's Percolating, and today we are back with Storytime Saturday. I didn't think I was going to be coming back to this game, to be completely honest. I did not think that we were going to be coming back into this Lucid9 series. But shouts out to David A in the comments who said he wanted to see some more. He wanted to see the good ending. And by God damn it, that's exactly what we're going to do. So guys, in loving memory. Not memory. In love for David A, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna be playing back through Storytime Saturday, Lucid9. We're gonna be playing through to get the good ending. Now, realize that one thing is very important in this entire thing, that we are, even though we're gonna be playing, of course we're gonna be playing from our save points, and the big thing is that we're looking to find that good ending. That is it. So whether it's the first retry, or whether it's the 22nd, or whether I have to look it up, we're getting that good ending before this episode is over. I don't give a shit. But also realize I'm cutting through this shit because we don't need to see all the stuff that's exactly the same. So with all that being in mind, guys, let's jump right into this. So last time we got Rui to come to the school with Mr. Ryota, as well as we got Rui to come to the school with Mr. Ryota, as well as we got her untied. And she's sitting in the corner, and we chose to attack the girl and the boy instead of attacking Rui this time. But we stalled. So what we're going to do is we're going to stall. And we stalled, and then we stalled to the last option, which was we stalled one more time, and then it attacked Mr. Ryota. So this time, we're going to try to get the upper hand, and instead of stalling 4 times, we're going to just stall him 3, I believe is the correct one. So that's what we're going to do. So, Pipes, don't you think that's ill-dated? I know. Just because something is old-fashioned doesn't mean it's bad. Stall one more time. I don't see what you mean. So you do. Never been a big fan of change, have you? And then we're going to attack Ryota. I can't let things continue on. I need to act now. I pull the pipe over my shoulder with a great deliberation as I prepare myself to strike the girl again. A moment passes. Then I fling the pipe around me, straight over my head and right towards Mr. Ryota. Surprisingly, he's caught off guard by the force crash of his shoulder. Grunts in pain, but nothing that could give me an advantage. Fear spikes through me, but I refuse to freeze. I continue my assault, swinging my pipe relentlessly in desperation, high, low, middle, anything. But the shock of the initial assault wore off and reloaded as an iron wall. It seems like we're probably going to get the exact same thing that we got earlier. Yep, we ended up exactly in the same spot. So I don't want to, but let's hit the girl. With Rui here, maybe it's a different situation. Maybe she's able to keep me a little bit more sane. So let's hit the girl this time. In a situation like this, it seems like the only option is to go with the flow. I automatically step forward, knuckles turning white as I raise the pipe. Shigure said she would bring the police. Shigure needs me to buy time. Buying time means abiding by the game. Drawing it out, paying without mercy. Also, my phone is still on. Sorry, my phone is still on. My Discord is popping off right now, so if you guys haven't in the Discord, you should be. Shameless self-plug. Biding time means abiding by the game. Drawing it out, pain without mercy. Conscious damage. Yama, please. Close your eyes. The voice that comes from my mouth is cold and blank, nothing like my own. I keep my eyes open as I swing the pipe down, knowing I'd only endanger the girl further if I closed them. I see the pipe descend. I see the girl's eyes widen. I see... Ah! The vibration rocks from the tip of the pipe up through my arms to my eyes, which rattle in their sockets. I feel the impact of her arm giving way beneath my own hands. Something in me, something I hadn't known was there, slinks away into the shadows, gone forever. I'm guessing that this means... This is going to really suck for me because I'm also going to probably lose my sanity a bit, but Rui's going to be the only thing that's going to be able to save me if I start to blank. So let's hope that I can buy time and that this won't go against me. I really hope it doesn't. Gone forever. The girl gasped for breath as her brother burst into tears. This is still different though, because last time when we hit her, We just kind of went crazy, killed her and killed her brother, and then killed Ryota. This time, it seems like we at least aren't doing that, which is good, I guess. Is there any good in this situation? God damn it! No! A brother, a sister, doomed to die. I step back, hand shaking uncontrollably. Ryota only throws back his head and laughs. Oh yes, that's it. I was worried for a moment, you know, thinking you'd pansy out. But you mean business right now, don't you? There must be something, some other way, some advantage, something that doesn't involve this. I still myself, keep my eyes fixed on the girl before me. Faking shock? Maybe I can't say that I'm really faking. Meanwhile, I let my mind cast about the room, mentally recalling every sensory memory that it shelved away as I entered the classroom, searching for some miraculous solution. The door sprung open beneath my touch as I stepped into the classroom, my figure enveloped in the nighttime gloom. Ryoma stormed behind me, letting every footstep vibrate through the floor of the doorframe into the foundations of the building. He was enjoying himself, maybe a little too much. He was waiting for this moment. This is gonna be my out. I remember that I said that he was impatient. I think is the thing I stored away. He was waiting for this moment, I think. The students that he'd carved to pieces might have pleased him temporarily, but this night, this is what be his magnum opus. He'd want to relive it 1,000 times over. He grinned with confidence as he cupped his hands around his mouth. And the delinquent at least arrived. At last, I shuffled further into the room, squinting into the darkness of the furthest corners, my shallow breath and palms sweaty. In the meantime, Ryota pushed up his sleeves and tossed his keys on top of the desk. That was when I saw Rui. Wait, tossed his keys and phone on top of the desk. There was one thing that I'd overlooked, the mole and the police. No matter how quickly and secretly Shigeru might act, there's still a high chance that she'll be found out. After all, it only took a few minutes for the mole to relay the news to Mr. Ryota. This time shouldn't be any different. Anytime now, a phone call should warn Ryota, tell him to get away, and that would be the end. Doesn't matter if I manage to distract him with this game, it's not like he'll ignore a phone call from his accomplice. In that case, I need to get rid of that phone. I have a pipe in my hands, and I'm just a step away from the desk. The main problem is breaking it without Ryota noticing, or if he does notice, he won't think that I'm knowingly sabotaging him. Hello, it's Toyama Ishimoto. What is this, a little too much for you? Whew. My voice catches and squeaks, which makes me sound exceedingly helpless. That's a good thing. Ryota giggles quietly, but his eyes are narrowed. This must be a little rough, Do you feel like you're hitting your poor sister? I wouldn't worry. She's already dead. You know that. I grip the pipe tighter, my knuckles whitening with pressure. The rough edges of the metal start to cut into the palm of my head. I welcome the anger, the panic, the helplessness that's swirling through my blood, gathering it into a tangling ball of black emotion. Must be sour for you, kid. No? Would you rather hit the little boy? Shut up. Yama, please don't listen to him. Come to think of it, maybe you'd have some fun if you'd hit the boy. You'd finally get an outlet for that self-hatred. Yama, he's trying to get you. You can fight it. Oh no. Shut up, you bitch! With frightening speed, he bounces across the classroom and seizes Rui by the hair, yanking backward until her neck is at an unnatural angle. You know, I liked you at first, but now you're just a little yapping dog. I should slit your throat right now. Feed your esophagus to the brat over there. He gestures to the boy who's fastened to the chair. Rui makes an instinctive whimper deep in her throat. Do we have an understanding? Yes. Do we have an understanding, you blathering whore? Bro, you gonna calm the fuck down talking to Rui like that. I'm just saying, you about to catch this pipe upside your skull, motherfucker. Yes. Something locks in my brain, and all my emotions drain away until I feel like an empty automaton. You shouldn't have touched her. My vision blurs with rage as I raise the pipe with both hands, my arms shaking. Cold. Everything feels so cold. The edges of my lips pull into an unbuttoned smile as a fleeting vision passes before my eyes. Ryota's body, battered, broken at my feet, waiting for me to make an imprint. I seize the vision, even as a deeper part of my mind swirls away in horror. I let it control me. You shouldn't have touched Rui Hayata. I slam the pipe down with as much force as possible. The metal pulses against the floor with an ear-splitting crack. Splinters of something white and shiny shoot away from the point of impact like spray bullets. The boy and girl shrink back in their chairs, staring at me with wide eyes. It's irrelevant. Get away from her! I let my voice increase in volume. I let it shake. I let it steed with madness and fury. Ryota steps back inadvertently, not out of fear, but out of surprise. He almost seems pleased with my transformation. I lunge forward, my voice exploring shrilly out of my throat. Get away from her! Get away from me or get away from her or I'll kill you! I start swinging the pipe madly, like an unbalanced marionette on a string, letting the end swivel into the desk, chairs, walls, anything. I rush at Ryota, but he nimbly weaves between the desk and tightens the grip on his own pipe. My pipe passes within an inch of Rui's face as I whirl around, bolting in Ryota's direction, towards the desk. I vaguely register a look of horror from Rui, but I look away in my mind like a gnat. Like a gnat. I lunge at Ryota with a full force blow, swinging down, letting out a vicious scream. And just as I was hoping, Ryota is startled by my sudden burst of energy and instinctively dodges to the side instead of blocking my blow. My pipe slices downward and splits the polished surface of the teacher's desk, sending shards of wood flying. The impact rattles my arms into my skull, but most importantly, I've hit Ryota's phone dead center. It shatters into a new pile of rubble, the resulting crackle masked by destruction. I don't take a pause. I can't celebrate the small victory. Instead, I let my anger fester and take hold of my pipe in my hands. I'll kill you right here, Ryota! I swing again at him, and he steps back, adjusting the grip on his pipe. He's getting ready to counterattack. The momentum on my arm carries my weapon straight into the wall, sending the plaster cracking. I let loose a scream of frustration, something that rips my throat raw and ricochets against the broken wall. Something that rips my throat raw and ricochets against the broken wall. From the corner of my periphery, I can register Rui clasping her hands. Yama, please stop. Is that the best you've got, kid? You still haven't landed a single hit on this old man. I don't let myself think. I just swing the pipe blindingly at his head, knowing that it won't hit. And Ryota drops down, just as I suspect. His eyes widen with glee as he swings his own pipe with one hand, and my stomach suddenly lurches back against my spine with a piercing hammer of agony. I'm sent sprawling to the ground, and Rui is screaming faintly in my ears. Yama! And then the coldness, the numbness, the emptiness, it all melts away. Then I suddenly feel weary, like every footstep is being pulled through mud. The bowl of pent-up aggression in my gut is replaced with a pounding soreness from the impact of Ryota's pipe. For a moment, I let myself lie there, splinters of wood and a plaster pricking into my back. It would be so easy to just close my eyes and sleep. Let the whole world drift away. Get up, boy. Game's not over yet. Unless you mean to forfeit. Ah, that's right. I can't forfeit. There's other lives on the line. That's what I came here for. To help these other people. To save some lives. I start to push myself up, but my abdomen clenches in pain. I gracelessly fall back to the ground, my back stinging from the tiny daggers of fragments embedded into the ground. So no forfeit? Pity! I turn onto my side and try again. This time, I lean on the remains of the desk, cradling an arm against my aching stomach. Where was that energy from a split second ago? Why am I suddenly so tired? I guess that I tend to charge ahead when I have a purpose, and without that purpose, I just run on a broken engine. I needed to break the phone. Now I've broken it. What's left? Wait? How long? When will Shiguri come? Cute playboy, I see what you're trying to do. My veins fill with dread, and it takes every ounce of self-control for me to not cast a glance at the buried phone. Unfortunately for you, noise isn't an issue. You can throw a tantrum all day and no one will hear a thing. The new curfew keeps kids in the dorm court. No one's gonna take a stroll around the classrooms when they could be playing foosball in the commons room. I don't have the energy to respond. I don't even feel my face anymore. I don't even feel my face move. Gradually, the cold, welcoming emptiness in my mind is dissipating, replaced with a creepy sense of utter what? Something dark, black, something that feels like it's squeezing my temples and smothering my nostrils until I can't breathe. Well, that was an interesting intermission. Must be my turn again. No. He weighs the pipe casually in his hands like he's adjusting a hold on a baseball bat and lifts it over his shoulder. I only register his words when he steps forward, sliding closer to the boy's side. Suddenly, past the bolt of pain in my diaphragm, I'm screaming, "No! Ah!" I automatically close my eyes at the moment of impact, but that doesn't make the crunch of his collapsing bone any less loud. Ryota struck the boy's hand this time. I keep my eyes off it, scared to witness the damage for myself, but judging from the boy's shocked stare, it's just as bad as it sounds. Please, don't hurt him. Oh, I wouldn't worry if I were you. You'll be getting your fair share of the pain. She groans at this, loud and anguished, bubbling in her throat like a clot of blood. Breaking the phone wasn't enough. There has to be more, something else I can do. Are you enjoying this? A filler as my mind scrambles for something more adequate. Why, yes, I am, thanks for asking. And you even enjoyed the previous students. They were alright, but this little show has been the best by far. It's like playing chess against a toddler versus playing chess against a rival. One just doesn't bring that satisfying challenge, you know? I can't feel good about putting a checkmate on a little kid who's not even potty trained. He's becoming more talkative, taking his focus off the game, even if it's just a little bit. I seize this with desperation. Maybe they were more of the challenge than you thought. I figured it out just from the clues they dropped. At this bold claim, Ryota tilts his head like a broken doll. I see the deranged gears in his head picking up speed ever so slowly. Because Ryota doesn't like games with only pain, suffering, injury. Ryota likes to think. Ryota is intelligent. Ryota wouldn't look for a battle of wits just as readily. Even this pipe game, it's a twisted mix of sadism and psychology. His mind clashing against mine, trying to make me succumb to his methods. Maybe there's a way to pique his interest and bring the floor back into balance. It's the last hope I have. You always were a sharp kid, weren't you? I have had high expectations for you, but you've exceeded every one of them. You deserve a gold star. I hope you know that a gold star isn't exactly a great incentive at the moment. Oh, but I read that positive reinforcement is better than punishment, particularly when it comes to children. To be fair, I've always thought of it as a ruse. Punishment gets results. You just need to look at history to realize that. It's because of whips and taskmasters that ancient pyramids and the great terracotta army were built. Meanwhile, what has modern humanity grown? Skyscrapers? What beauty do those hold? They're glorified prisons, cages of metal and glass, meant to trap in pathetic little animals. Is that what you consider success? Building something big? Some people just prefer happiness. Happiness, what a subjective measure of reality. At least impressive structures are tangible. They are made of strong material carved to loom above the common populace. When you look up and you realize the depth of man's insignificance. Happiness? What can measure happiness? How many smiles I send per day? Oh, let's not forget the first world dream, living in a mansion with a Ferrari and tens of thousands of servants. Nothing brings happiness, but so much brings awe. This is just a meaningless stall for time, but I'll take it. He's starting to warm up, and weirdly enough, so am I. Maybe happiness is subjective, but awe, does it really bring fulfillment? Doesn't it? Haven't you ever stood on the precipice of a great chasm and just thought, oh, I could just die happy at this moment? It's an unparalleled feeling in the world, child. Da-da-da. You seem to be regarding me with skepticism. Then pray tell, what is your opinion? What makes you happy in this foolish little world? What makes me happy? Something about this question seems to be a trap. Is he waiting for something to use against me? Is it time for another layer of psychological warfare? My friends, I could say my friends make me happy. Then he'd point out how none of them were here, how I've endangered the only one who mattered, how friends are simply an arbitrary term for a circle of useless acquaintances. All I would feel is despair. Then what else could I offer as an answer? Being alive? Being alive to do what? feel and experience everything that life has to offer, then Ryota would say that the gift of life is enough to bring happiness, then everyone should always be happy. The slave beneath a whip, the trafficked girl in a brothel, the prisoner of war on a rack. And again, I would only feel despair. What makes me happy? What fuels me to get up in the morning and keep going? Altruism? Hardly. I think most people in the world are pretty stupid and don't deserve to live. Love? Yeah, as if I'm a fountain of affection. What is there to fuel me? What makes me happy? Anything I think of, I know that Ryota can warp and use against me. He'll try to break me with my own words. Oh, have I been caught? A shame we meet under such circumstances, child. Your mental faculties are truly impressive. Do you understand the theme of my lecture? I can't say I do. Will there be a study guide? You're already in the test, boy. I'm afraid it's too late. Simply put, he who has the most drive has the most strength, and he who has the most strength has the most power. Look at you. You can't even tell me what makes you happy, whereas I gave a confident answer. Why do you suppose that you are so powerless, while here I stand invincible? He even took my lack of an answer and used it against me. Huh. I tried to sell myself that it was the right decision. Are you saying that you won? I'm just reporting the facts. But even if I'm weaker, I can still beat you. I already beat you. Nobody was supposed to know that you were responsible for the killings. The recent ones, or the independent ones. Ryota stops in his tracks, his eyes glistening. Well, whatever the independents' killings were, it looks like he really was the person behind them. It's a breather that I desperately seize. I try to cover from my fatigue and fling a challenging look in his direction. You've been busier than I thought. Doesn't seem to be too hard. People don't tend to expect much of me. But you've even made friends in high places, High places? This throws me for a loop. What does he mean by high places? I got that information from Natsuki, and she lives in the shabby apartment in District 6. No, I can't be distracted. I have to keep the conversation flowing, make him lose track of time. Just how many people have you killed? The Aztecs had this remarkable belief system. Would you like to hear it? I just asked a question. In order to appease the gods to keep the universe running smoothly, they were to offer constant human sacrifices. Priests would rip out the hearts of prisoners of war while they were yet alive. Oh god, I need water really quickly. His voice kills me. If they slacked in performing this ritual, the kingdom as they knew it would fall into pieces. That's why you kill people? To keep Isamu running? What kind of reason is that? Oh, what? Do you think I am a priest? His voice drops and takes on a tint of something unfamiliar. My spine tingles in apprehension. I'm not the priest, child. I am the god. I receive bloody offerings. I do not give them myself. The city must earn my goodwill, lest I paint the streets red with my vengeance. The ones who scorn me will be obliterated by the very words of their own mouth. Oh, dear child, you know nothing of the beauty of pure, unadulterated strength. I open my mouth, willing a snarky remark to come forth, but there's nothing. My hands are shaking, tightening against my throbbing stomach. What kind of madness has seized this guy? I straighten and open my mouth wider, hoping that something will come up. Anything. If I don't say anything, if I don't distract him, even if it means I have to listen to more of this insanity. Your antics amuse me, boy, but our mission must come to an end. We must return to our little game. Too late. The opportunity's been lost, and now I'm rattled and I can't recover. In terms of psychological damage, he's won handily. I don't think it could have happened any other way. Like a puppet master overseeing a play, he has total control over every scene. Well, boy, it's your turn. What is your move? You guys already know exactly what's about to happen. Save. We're gonna save that in empty slot. What, number 8? Holy shit. We're gonna save that in 8. Sweet. So let's try stalling. I can't keep hitting her. It's a pity that life doesn't change whether you can. It's a pity that life doesn't change whether you can or can't do something. The stalling thing doesn't always work, but I mean, Why did that happen to you? Oh, are we having a little heart-to-heart? Alright, we gotta hit her. We gotta hit her because we know what happens when we stall. Something must have happened. Something must have turned you pretty bitter. You'd love if that were true, weren't you? Wouldn't you? Hurry up! Clock's ticking, boy! Alright, we gotta hit her. I have no option. I just follow along. My hands shake as I step closer, raising the pipe. Maybe I can get away with us hitting softer? No, it's a dumb idea. I know it's a dumb idea. Ryota would immediately know, and then he'd make me hit her again. Can't close my eyes. Might accidentally kill her if my aim is off. So I keep them wide open until the air pulls tears out of them. Then I swing the pipe. Yeah! Her arms hang limply over the edge of the chair, bent in an unusual angle that rises bile to my throat. How must she be feeling at this moment? How can she stand it? Held captive for no reason, every nerve screaming fire at her, begging her conscience to fade, but finding no relief. How can she still live through this kind of miserable existence? Say, kid, you're not looking too hot. Want to call in a sick day? I doubt that's an option I want to say. Something unaffected and cynical, something that keeps me safe from the mess of the world. Instead, my mouth opens to pull up a toxic divert to divert the conversation. You said you kill people for fun, essentially. Oh, does that bother you? I assume it would bother most people. But if I remember correctly, the Aztecs, well, they killed other strong warriors to transfer the strength to the sun. So what made you turn out a bunch of helpless students? Even if I ask the question, the inner crevices of my eye, I whisper quietly, is it worth it? Isn't this just prolonging an agonizing demise? But what other option is there? Come to think of it, earlier you mentioned being an executioner. Good observation, kid. Let's just say that it's not coincidence that all the victims are connected to Ikari's son, How fun. You're about to join that number. This makes me falter. Of course, if Yahiko isn't the killer, but has all the connection to every single victim, it has to bear significance. How could I have overlooked that? What do you have against Yahiko? He's harmless, he's gentle. He feels like a little kid in a broken world, something so stupidly innocent that it's refreshing. I have nothing against Yahiko. You're asking the wrong question. He has nothing against Yahiko, but he's killing people close to him. That's an incredibly drastic maneuver. Why would a serial killer suddenly focus his attention on someone like Yahiko? No matter how hard I think, the answer eludes me. But I can't falter. I can't let him remember to continue the game. Think. If I were Ryota, if I were some psychotic man who loved to kill people, inflict extreme agony, then why would I do such a thing? What is Yahiko? What is Yahiko that I'm not? What does Yahiko have that I don't? Yahiko is arrogant, a dreamer, easily excitable, oblivious. No, these are personality tricks. Think deeper. Motive! The Ikari's son, Ryota said before. The Ikari's. If it doesn't have to do with the past history, they don't really know each other well after all, then is it because of money? Money? Connections? Yahiko's the son of the two higher-ups at Limnescape. Sorry, I had to check something for a second. If Ryota doesn't have anything against Yahiko, then could he have something against his parents? If you were aiming for Yahiko's parents, it seems a lot more effective to target the people around them. Still have that brain of yours, I see. Yes and no. Yes, since Yahiko is just an easy avenue to his parents. But targeting the people around the parents themselves? Instant suspicion. Not to mention artless and cliché. I thought you'd be smarter than that. A little thought bothers me. Why is he so open with his information? No, I don't have time to consider this right now. I have to just accept it. Think more. I am Ryota. Even now, I want to see blood, to hear screams, to... No, something's clashing. Students aren't a challenge. They're too easy for me, the wretched pests. Their deaths are simple and insignificant. They will be remembered for what? A day, 2, perhaps 5 years by their families? But eventually, they will fade into consequential nothingness, because they are young and meaningless. Another tally in a long list of missing persons. Whereas if I could get my hands on a politician or a world leader, even a company executive, mourning for weeks, months, years, remembrance in history books. The man who killed the king, or the president, or the emperor. I shall make my mark on society forever, a beautiful thread filling up the space in an intricate tapestry. But instead I've decided to kill students, to capture insignificant little rodents just to put pressure on the Akari family. What? A joke? Why am I even doing this? The Akari family is threatening me? No, certainly my judgment wouldn't be more swift. I would care nothing about my own death as long as I have them suffer first. Were they threatening me? I would see them in their rooms, and the next night with a knife in my hand and have a grin on my face. Capital punishment would be insignificant. I would face the chopping block gladly in that case. Money? Perhaps someone is commissioning me with money incentives? As if. I am paid in blood. Currency is of little value to my psyche. If I really needed the pocket change, a few black market inquiries would do. Perhaps I need something money cannot buy. Something that only a certain commissioner has. And the only way to get it is to pressure the Akaris, even if it means killing rabbits. To do that, I started with someone only slightly related to Yahiko, Midori Mino. They would not even notice. Yahiko may mourn the compassionate imbecile, but to the Akaris, it's just an insignificant disappearance. Then Toma Hayashi, who interacted with their son on the greater level in an orientation group that Yahiko led. They may raise some eyebrows and call for suspicion, but nothing that the Akaris can prove. Next is Akane Tsugune, girlfriend of Shoji, who was close to Yahiko due to the Happy Club. Shoji himself followed thereafter. A spiral of people with Yahiko Akari at its center. The poor soul would not understand what's going on, but surely his parents would. And in return, I will receive something of enormous value, something that money cannot buy, even if it means that I must sacrifice a portion of my dignity. Yama? You, Ryota, are on someone else's payroll. You're a freelancer with a client? You are no artist? You have no satisfaction? How the mighty have fallen. Once a predator feared by all, able to strike whenever and wherever he's so pleased. Now a mindless guillotine with no will of its own? How great is your greed that you'd betray the love of art for this? But oh, you fool, you've conquered dogs and rats. Silence. His voice teems of ice, and I feel his psyche writing in humiliation. It's just so thrilling. When they screamed how easy it must have been to forget. Just as a man can distract himself with symphonies, so can he distract himself with agony. But when you returned, when you lay your head on your pillow, you must have realized the bitterness of your own insignificance. Rabbits, pawns, you are pest control. Do not test me, boy. But I'm caught up in this euphoria, a welcome distraction from the nerve-ending cycle of pain and panic that plagued me before. Selling your soul for a delusion, a pittance. Do you never wish to go back to happier times? A time where you were a shadow with an aim? The independent killings. Nothing is more fearsome than the unknown. The people who knew about them? Were they terrified? Did they huddle in their beds every night, unable to sleep, thinking they could be next? Did it stroke your ego, knowing that the one who had held their fate in his hands was you? Or were those killings also a discretion of your employer? Were they further connections that the police simply could not deduce? Was that also a primeval commission? Ryota grits his teeth and digs his fingers into the nearest desk, but doesn't say a word. Then I'm right. I'm right about everything. Here you are, the fearsome Subarus, yet you are bound to a pathetic little leash. Oh, I'm talking big shit right now. I'm talking big shit. Caught up in corporate politics at that. Where there's nothing but bigwigs bickering like toddlers. What exactly do you need so badly? I can't imagine that you'd be craving love or friendship. Give me a quick reminder, what else can money not buy? Respect, naturally good looks, peace of mind, or say, an honest politician? Motives. Ryota, motives are interesting, aren't they? Everybody likes to think that their motive is special and unique, but in the end, they're all the same. Money, love, power. Which of those applies to you? Or do you still think that you're all that special? That you're something more than an empty little puppet dancing from the strings of someone's fingers? What a sick existence. What an agonizing, wonderfully meaningless exist. Yama, stop it! This is not winning. Rui's voice shocks me out of character, like a fish suddenly pulled out of water. I stand idly for a moment, my mind blank. Not winning, of course. I wanted to win over Ryota. I wanted it so badly that I even became Ryota and even let myself stay as him, even though I despise him more than I've despised anyone. But even that isn't winning. That's just losing. But because to become Ryota would just be to win the battle and lose the war. I'm already inflicting injury on innocent students with a metal pipe just like Ryota would. If I lose my own mind. Cute display, kid. Real cute. He's smiling assuredly. Already recovered. His voice is calm, but I catch a note of tension that wasn't there before. I get the impression that I made a terrible mistake. And if I had proceeded, well, he would have snapped. What would happen if he snapped? Will we all look like these two students bound to chairs, broken, helpless, pleading for death? I shouldn't have tried. But what else should I have done? Just go along with the status quo? Would that have resulted in anything different? Know what's interesting? You're still missing something, aren't you? You think you've read the whole book. You think you know how it ends. You think that you know the whole pattern. But you're still blind. You're seeing out of one eye, boy, but not the other. Missing part of the pattern. I don't understand. Think harder, boy. So the sequence of deaths has to do with Yako. So what? So what? The broken gear in the back of my mind slowly begins to turn forward. Right, all the deaths revolve around Yako. Specifically, over time, those deaths have gotten closer and closer to their epicenter. Almost like a whirlpool soaking in its surroundings. Closer to Yako. Within the school, the closest people to Yako, are me, Rui, and Masato. The inseparable gang that hangs out together day in, day out, flailing through life like with a bunch of rambunctious high school shenanigans. Of course. That's why he picked up the phone. That's why he'd instantly picked up the phone. That's why he'd been prepared for my call. That's why he kidnapped Rui. Because we were already the next ones on his list. No. Oh, that was quick. Congratulations. To be honest, boy, the Kurogane boy should be here too. But, guess what? He goes to bed too early. Out like a light. Doesn't answer his phone. I haven't prepared my whole excuse and everything. I suddenly feel so very tired. Weighed down. My intellect is fraying. I can't feel my sanity bleeding. I can feel the sanity bleeding out of my body. Just let it end. It was all planned from the very beginning. I can't keep holding out. I can't prolong this misery. I tried to one-up Ryota, and I only ended up worse state than before. If that trend continues, my eyes drift aimlessly around to the ground, the pipe swaying limply between my fingers. Blood dripping quietly from the chairs, a small amount, terrifyingly small amount, given how much damage we inflicted. How much eternal bleeding must there be? How much pain? Now I know Ryota's mode is in history, so what? I'm still an accomplice in a manslaughter, bit by bit wiping out the opportunities in this girl's life. The dream of playing on a sports team. The dream of being a pianist. The dream of marrying a normal guy and having normal kids. Shameless and brutally striking those dreams from existence with no motion, no method of recovery. She's someone who actually has opportunities in life, and they're being taken away from her by someone else. Ah, the justice of the world. You'd be grateful that I'm a patient man. A lesser being would have peeled your forearms in layers for your insolence. The mental image pulses in front of my eyelids, and I stumble backward, nausea surging to my throat. That's right. I'm just a kid trying to fight a seasoned serial killer. What was I thinking? I use my hands and push against the desk, shakily trying to prop myself on my feet. I collapse bonelessly to the ground, legs like gelatin. I can't continue this. I can't continue this way. Not much longer. I see the blood on the edge of the pipe in my hands. Blood that's not there. Blood that I know isn't there. But blood that still weeps down the metal and coats my hands. All is silent, save for the strangled sobs of the 2 injured children. 2 dying siblings, side by side. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, guess it's my turn again. You know, I'm really giving you an advantage here by going first. Now you'll always be one hit ahead. Please, let's just stop. He ignores my faint whispers and steps forward, adjusting his grip on the pipe. The boy whimpers incomprehensible words spilling out of his mouth. Sorry, kids, but the world doesn't listen to begging, and neither will I. He swings the pipe with vindictive justice. Perhaps a payback for my insolence. I flinch instinctively this time, barely missing the moment of impact. And then a cheer screeching against the ground, a piercing scream that rends the air, a light sweet chuckle from a man who's lost his mind. As I force my eyes open, I catch an unfamiliar, pungent smell. Vomit, dripping from the boy's mouth, pulling over the side of his chair to the floor below. My stomach turns over. My grip rattles against the pipe. Oh, yes! This is life, children! The beauty of pain has no substitute! I step forward, forcing words out of my dry mouth. We need to stop this. I can't handle this. Ryota swivels on me, the joy in his eyes immediately dissipating. We're just getting to the good part. You're saying you're going to forfeit? Quitters never prosper, boy, and you wonder why you've never prospered. I've dropped to my knees harder than I intend. The shakiness of my limbs give my legs a solid blow against the ground. This is no longer an act. Groveling and showing vulnerability. This is not just another strategy anymore. I have no other way out, no other hope. Please don't do this. Do what? I can't find words, so I only sweep my hand around the room. Oh, all of this? The whole captivity thing? The game? The fun? I manage a nod. Then, will you lick my shoe? He stamps a foot in a puddle of the boy's vomit, shaking it teasingly at me. I don't make a move. I'm waiting. I open my mouth, fighting for words. Nothing comes. The vomit gleams on the sole of his shoe, mocking me. Rui makes an instinctive sound of distress, gripping her chair with whitened hands. I stare at the shoe, willing myself to lean forward. I don't move. You see, boy, you're not ready to really beg. Why? Because you're still clinging to your pride, pathetic as it is. Some part of you believes that you could still have control of the situation. Some part of you believes that some miracle will bail you out. If you were really ready to beg, if you really threw away all your pride, you wouldn't be aiming for the limbs, no? When you hold that pipe, you would be aiming right at the skull. This is your only hope right now. The only hope of all of you. Death! But sadly for you, I don't like to rush my executions. It's just such a waste. I shakily clamber to my feet, weighing my arms on the table to pull myself up. Pride, belief, control of the situation. Do I really have any of those things? Maybe he's right. Maybe if I really was hopeless, I would have already crushed 2 skulls and resigned myself to a long, excruciating death. But here I stand with a pipe ready to hit again. Why? So, now that your little dramatic stint has ended, I believe it's time for your turn. He tilts his knife against the moonlight in Rui's direction, sending a fresh reminder of the stakes. We're in too deep, fam. I'm saving every chance I get. We're at 9. 9 saves. That's fucking ridiculous. Can I stall? So you don't like to rush? I know your little tricks, boy, and I'm not in the mood to entertain them. Hit the girl. Fuck me, dude. This is brutal. This is brutal. Oh, God. I grip the pipe, arm shaking as it raises over my shoulder. But aren't you stuck here forever? The fight isn't getting too tiring? Aren't you exhausted? You're not strong enough to face this. I shake my head and squeeze my eyes shut, trying to knock the voices out of my head. We can't do this, Yama. This is wrong. We can't. I swing the pipe. Ugh! No, no. The pipe drops out of my shaking fingers. I lean heavy against the nearest desk and my knees are too weak to support my weight. I can't do this. Oh, sure you can. You're doing great. Ryota lifts the pipe over the boy, whose face is coated in a mixture of sweat and tears, slicking his hair against his forehead. The boy's eyes slide to mine, begging silently, hating the day he was born. Ryota sends an icy smirk with a sheen of madness, reminding me of my earlier behavior. Payback, he seems to be saying, but I do nothing. Ah! The note is raw, this time raw from an overused throat that's been screaming far more than it should. When it descends into silence, I can hear the breathes of the two students rattling in their lungs, shallow and anguished. Blood is starting to trickle from their mouths, slowly down the corner of their jaw and dribbling into their pristine uniforms. Death would be a far better option. How much time has passed? It feels like days stretched out and pushed against each other. Practically, I know it can't be more than a few hours, but the sun hasn't started rising yet. But holding out for this long only seems to be delaying the inevitable, and in the meantime harming innocents along the way. Why did it have to be you? Who? Be specific, boy. I wished it wasn't you. Shape up and tell me more. Ambiguity helps no one. You shouldn't have been the killer, Ryota. He was supposed to help me. He was supposed to get me through schools, through drama, through life. Not this, never this. We're saving every step along the way. I need to be able to go back and switch up. I'm not joking. We are finding that good ending today. Any stall? I thought you were with us. Why? Do you feel betrayed? I thought of all the people, it wouldn't be you. Unfortunately, that's the fallacy in your own thinking. But why? Why you? I know you know nothing, boy. Quit your dawdling. I really want to attack Ryota, but I'm 87% sure that it's going to end up with the exact same shit. So let's hit the girl. I hate that I have to say that. Rising the pipe, but my grip falters as my eyes turn to the girl. She no longer has hate in her eyes. She doesn't even have the slightest hint of anguish. Everything is just empty. I whispered again, the trivial excuse that does nothing to help the situation. I'm sorry. This time, though, she responds, quietly moving nothing but her mouth. I know. And I swing the pipe. The blow rebounds against my arms as the bone of her leg fractured beneath the hard metal. The resulting scream is just another repeat, another skip on a broken record player. I falter backward, the pipe rubbing my hands raw, reminding me that every bent limb, every cry of pain is all my own doing. No one held my arm. No one swung the pipe. Every blow was my choice. No one bears the blame but me. And I don't know if I can continue to hold on. There's no sign of sirens in the distance, no janitor making his rounds, not even the student in sight. Just 4 teenagers and a serial killer with a knife. That and one pipe. One solid pipe in my hands. I could say that I don't know what to do. I could say that I'm helpless. But it would be far too accurate to say that I know exactly what to do, and I'm just too scared to do it. What? No begging this time? Why, I'm almost disappointed. He strikes the boy again, a brutal blow that crushes his fingers. The boy retches as his screeches, choking on his own vomit, the wet, crumpled cough that results in far more pain to hear than any scream. The sound of a human who is slowly dying. Stop it. Stop, please. Somehow. I step to the side of the girl, gripping the pipe so tight that its rough patches begin to dig into my palms. I've gathered enough time. I've tried my best. The police aren't coming. The situation where there should have been a way out, any way out, there is none. The only relief I could bring is by murdering as many of the students as I can. Murder. I've heard so many times that taking a life changes you. That once you get blood in your hands, you stop being human. Will that happen in this case? Killing this girl, turning into a murderer? I don't care anymore. I just want this all to end. I need it all to end. I can't take this anymore. Kill the girl or attack Ryota? We're attacking Ryota. I'm saving at 11, but we're attacking Ryota. I don't want to kill this girl. I can't just let things continue on. I need to act now. I pull the pipe over my shoulder with great deliberation as I'm preparing myself to strike the girl again. A moment passes. I fling the pipe around me, straight over the girl's head and right towards Ryota. Surprisingly, he's caught off guard. Driving it into his shoulder, he grunts with pain, but I feel no bones give way. Nothing that can give me an advantage. High, low, middle, anything. Fuck, it looks like I've fucked up again. Ryota doesn't sidestep. He doesn't duck. He only broadens his stance and holds the pipe with both ends, driving it upward to meet my blow. Then impact shatters onto my arms, feel numb. I yell in pain to the pipe on instinct. He immediately sees the moment, bringing it right down my leg. Ah! Pain, nothing but pain in the sheet mind, washing out everything. Ryota's voice bleeds quietly through the agony, low and mocking. Now, child, that's not how you treat your elders. You really have to have better manners, but suddenly I catch a blur. He doesn't let up. She swings straight into turns the direction, uncanny precision. Fuck! I felt like we got so far. So we're gonna load back up immediately. I'm not even gonna skip this part. I'm just loading right back up. Bad end again, in case you guys didn't guess. It was the exact same shit. So let's kill the girl. This is a nightmare with no awakening. A dark tunnel with no sight of line. What use is it? There's nothing left for us to wait for. It's better to end it quickly than prolong needless pain. I shouldn't have come here in the first place. I shouldn't have tried to fix anything. If only I had remained unattached. If only I had stayed oblivious, none of this would have happened. I raised the pipe with certainty, hands cold but steady. It would have been better if I had just stayed as a normal high school student, breezing past his final years of studies before the university exam. Alienated from this world of misery. No! Yama! I swing the pipe. The impact rushes certainly into her skull, splitting it cleanly. She doesn't have time to scream. I strain, expecting to fear terror, guilt, fear. Wave of nausea, not the sickening blow of fever or flu, something deeper scale flows on the edges of my body. It's a sensation slimy and incurable. Murderer, my mind whispers. There's silence from Ryota, even the boy, not a single peep. The boy should be screaming in fury. He should be swearing vengeance at me for killing his sister, but Ryota is cackling with satisfaction. He's finally broken me to the point where I've taken a life. The two of them only stare at me silently as if frozen in. I drop the pipe, but it lands soundlessly, like the wound of a velvet what is this? It seems like I might have fucked up somewhere. Immediately drawing my attention. Who's there? Nothing, of course. There's no. It's out of my control. I can do nothing. Death after death, and the cycle of suffering. Living in a world that delights in breaking innocent souls. Better just give up and die. If I could fall to the ground at that moment, I would. Self-right. That'd be certainly ideal. Or do I need to live? To lie down without a fight and to set my revenge on the world. To make society resent the people who raised such a monster. A tantalizing thought. It's out of my control, and now in my control. And so I wake. Time has resumed. No, it never stopped at all. The girl's split corpse tumbles crookedly in her chair. If I bothered to look, I would probably see organs slithering out of her skull. I breathe deeply despite the cloying sense of iron, feeling refreshingly alive. You monster! Despite his numerous injuries, the boy writhes against his chair, screaming in toxic conjunction of fury and pain. A truly tragic scenario. And he is obnoxious and hardly influential. It would be better to dispose of him without hesitation. Yama? What are you? I reach down and grab the pipe, crushing against his forehead with all the force I can muster. Instant silence. I sigh, quietly flickering fragments of bone and blood off the pipe, feeling for the first time in total control of the situation. So this is true strength. How I envy it. What? I turn my gaze to the man standing by the shattered teacher's desk. His face is utterly still, matched with years of long practice, but I can sense with his wings of terror beating beneath his breast. It's probably been a long time since a man like him has felt fear, almost an entirely new sensation. I smile absently, a tingle of pride buried beneath my hollowness. This man with a haggard face, beaten brow, shredded pupils, accustomed to the chaos of the highest order fears me. Who are you? Why do you ask? I see a man's calculations crumbling in his eyes. Clearly, this is a situation he is not expected. You're not Yama. Nonsense. There's no one else who I could possibly be. He's simply limited he's simply limited by his preconceived notions, the fool. I advance towards him, raising my well-worn pipe. Let him burn. Let this whole world burn. Deserves nothing less. Wait! Throws up his hand, trembling with adrenaline, looking for a way to escape. So far, this is all the same, but I'm still reading it. I don't know why. I feel like it might change at some point, and Rui was different, so, I mean, I might as well see where Rui jumps in. He's such a brave man, and yet so cowardly. I'm waiting. You want something different, don't you? I stretch my sore muscles idly, paying little heed to the knife clenched tightly in the man's hand. An intelligent fellow. He's had all this time, but even though he's drawn it, he knows better than to use it on me. What could you possibly mean? The man is still for a moment, his eyes flickering down to my open rib cage. But the knife stays at its side. Instead, he raises his unarmed hand, pointing across the room toward it. Rui Hayata, still frozen in the opposite corner of the room. I know that look in your eyes. You're not so different, you and I. Oh? It seems like a perfectly acceptable chuckle, but not even a smile crossing my lips. Intriguing. You want bloodshed. I can help you in that. You will gain very little from killing me as opposed to letting me help you. I tilt my head, humming quietly. A sensible offer, but I suddenly flash forward, holding the pipe with both hands. Yoda reflexively swings his knife, but his actions move like mud to my eyes. I easily catch his blade against my pipe and drive the leverage to rotate into his own chest. The knife sinks softly into his flesh. He stares at me, agape. Could not have been more wrong about what I want, unfortunately for you. You! I jolt my grip, thrusting the knife deeper in. He grasps for breath, a gurgling sign, no doubt the result of blood flushing through his lungs. I release my hold, knowing the wound would be fatal, and step away. After a moment of deliberation, I pick up Ryota's pipe. A nice moment of irony. My path turns to Rui, who is still huddled in the corner, utterly silent, probably in shock. I step towards her, Ryota's pipe dragging onto the ground behind my footsteps. I come to halt before her desk. She looks up at me, eyes bright with unshed tears. What am I seeing? I vaguely wonder. A shadow of a boy who was once her childhood friend? A vengeful phantom of the past? Hello, Rui. My voice is plain and flat. Her eyes flicker to the pipe I hold. Hello, Yama. I see you're not attempting to escape. It would, of course, be useless for her to try, but that is not the deeper question I'm asking. Her lips tremble as they part, but she narrows her eyes, determined. Because I believe in you, Yama, and I always will. She smiles at me, not because she's forcing it, but because she's brilliant and happy and everything pure in this world. I can't restrain myself from lifting a blood-encrusted hand to brush against her cheek, feeling terribly sad. That will be your last mistake. Without hesitation, I raise the pipe and... May you rest, Rui, knowing it was for a purpose. Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. As much as I didn't want to do it, I think I'm going to end up having to do it. I got to look it up. I've been playing for an hour and I didn't get anything that I was hoping for. So I found a guide, thanks to whoever this amazing user is, Rampant Poultry on Steam. Mad love, appreciate that. He made an entire guide that gives you everything in this game. I used it for the Petri dish because I couldn't find it, and I kept it on my phone literally just for this moment in case I needed it, and, well, you're damn right I did. So, I'm going to run through all the options exactly as he says. Just so you guys know, I'm going to read out the instructions, and then I'm just going to do them, because honestly, I don't think that you're going to miss much. I'm going to go through and read through to just find the shit. So, So, we start with the phone conversations, which I'm going to go ahead and get back into because I need to be there anyway. So, starting with phone conversations, we answer the call, refuse terms, reject these terms, and accept these terms. Then we go to the showdown. 2 students, stall 4 times, hit the girl. Stall 3 times, hit the girl. Stall 1 time, hit the girl. Stall 3 times, hit the girl. Then we kill the girl. So I'm gonna do it exactly as is. I'm not gonna probably show most of this because it's exactly the same shit. Most of this is actually exactly how I did it. So not much is gonna change. I will read probably the part about when we only reject twice instead of rejecting 3 times. I think So we'll see. I don't think there's gonna be much, but okay. So murderer, I've heard so many times that taking a life changes you, that once you get blood on your hands, you stop being human. What will happen in that case? Killing this girl, turning me into a monster? I don't know. I know that there are 3 innocent students here, and if I don't do something, they'll be stuck in a never-ending cycle of agony. And it would have been better if they had just died earlier. It would have been better if I had just killed them earlier. I don't want to do this, but is there any other choice? I just want to be okay. Kill the girl, but I falter. I stand stiffly, the pipe frozen in my hands. Should I just hit her without a killing blow and let the game continue? I can't kill her just to take the easy way out, but I don't think I can keep sustaining my sanity. It would be easy. Everything would be over. You don't need to bear this burden. This is what my mind keeps whispering to me, but I don't know whether to trust it or not. If I could see the ending, I would. If I somehow ended up getting out of this, then wouldn't she be glad to be alive, even with those injuries? Because at least she has a second chance at life? This pain, this suffering, it'll hurt and it'll scar, but maybe she could find her dream career or marry a wonderful husband. Something that just makes living worthwhile. But if we won't get out of this, if the only thing in store for us is agonizing death against which we're fighting in futility, it would have been better if I just killed her in the very first stroke. How could I make that judgment? How could I possibly predict that burden? Can I really choose to end someone's life with my own hands? I can't see the ending. I don't understand fate. I wish I could know the answer, but there's nothing for me. No one can see the future. If you dawdle any longer, kid, Rui gets the short end of the stick. Or the pipe. However you prefer to say it. No more time, no more chances. I've held out as long as I could. I raised the pipe, aiming directly in line with the girl's head. She smiles tremulously in understanding and closes her eyes. Acceptance, perhaps even gratitude. But somehow, we've landed a situation where a quick death is merciful. What if I had been faster? What if I had been smarter? If I had caught Ryota before today, none of this would have happened. Why did I sit still in one place and allow this to happen? My arms shake as I willed them to descend. I can't hesitate. I need to strike decisively. If I don't, the result will only be unconsciousness and a splitting headache and no clean death. This girl doesn't deserve to wake up again in this nightmare. No one does. And with that, I guess it's time to become a murderer. I raised the pipe even higher, counting softly in my head. 3, I'm sorry. I wasn't enough. 2, I'm sorry. You had to face this. 1. Then from outside the windows, light blasts into the classroom, followed by a shrill overtones of a megaphone. Shiro Ryota, stand down. You are surrounded. Release the students or we will shoot you. Am I hearing things? Is my mind so desperate for a reprieve that it's throwing up whatever it can to stop my pipe? My eyes instinctively search out Rui's. Her expression is a mess, horror mixed with sorrow, mixed with relief. It's real then. Shigure came. And not sexually, we're not talking this way. I can't make jokes. This is too good. No, wait, it's not over. We're still in the room with Ryota. 2 students are still in a very dangerous position where they might lose their lives. I glance at Ryota. He's frozen in shock, his hands automatically patting down his pockets, searching for his phone. The phone that I had smashed to pieces with a metal pipe. It just solidifies my suspicions. He would have been notified if I hadn't managed to break that phone. While Ryota's still in shock, we have to run now. He'll chase us. He won't be able to stop himself from chasing us. I lock eyes with Rui, then jerk my head to the door. Thankfully, Ryota is still transfixed on the scene outside, mouth agape in disbelief. Rui quietly slides from her desk and slides along the wall. Painfully, inch by inch, she comes closer. Hey! I immediately seize her hand, and we tear off, running as fast as we can with shaky legs. We don't spare any words. We only shoot up the stairs, breaking onto the rooftop. The smart thing for Ryota to do would be stay right where he is, using the 2 remaining students as hostages to secure his escape. But he won't do that. He'll chase after us, furious, bowling anything out of his way to reach us in time. So at this moment, the best thing we can do is run. The air is bristling, bitingly cold. It blasts at our faces as I lead Rui to the edge without a break in stride. See the line that goes through the row of pots? See the line that goes through the row of pots? Jump over the edge there. What? Jump! To her credit, she does, leaping over the low railing, off the rooftop, and plummeting to the ground below. Except it's not ground, but the school pool. The pool over which Yahiko, Masato, and I stood last year with umbrellas in hand, testing to see if we could somehow fly with them. I hated Yahiko for weeks after that moment. I never thought I would be grateful to have joined him. Rui lands safely with a splash, and I scramble to the side as fast as I can. I force myself to wait a few agonizing moments for her to swim her way out, then vault over the edge and... Oh, no you don't! An overpowering hand snatches my collar and yanks me back, crushing my windpipe against my jacket. I'm slammed against the ground on the rooftop, flat on my back. Ryota stands over me, knife loosely handled between his fingers, toying with the edge of my collar with the tip of his blade. His entire face is saturated in a terrifying mix of fury, ecstasy, something that sends chills down my spine. Cute! Really, boy? That was quite cute! He lifts me up and presses me against the railing, setting the flat of his blade against my cheek. No, it can't end this way. What a good-hearted soul ensuring the escape before you jumped. Someone like you needs a reward. He abruptly turns the knife until the edge rests against my cheekbone. I flinch instinctively, which only broadens his grin. If you want to beg, boy, now would be the time to do it! Like a rat sprinting through a maze, searching for its only chance at exiting, my mind races for a solution, something, anything. No, nothing. Wait! Do you not wish to play a bigger role in society than an inconsequential pawn in this game of life? Or will you restrict yourself to the confines of your abilities just because of her? My one last chance is this being very vaguely specific. I look at Ryota square in the eyes, willing my voice to be steady with every last bit of my strength. She was disappointed in you, wasn't she? The result is immediate. Ryota's grin drops, and the grip on his knife loosens just slightly. His eyes turn completely blank, unseeing. I know for certain that in his mind, he's recalling a dark moment, a terrifying moment, something locked away that he'd never let himself know, let alone a stranger. Remembering tears of regret, a whisper phrase, words that have haunted nightmares every day since they were uttered. I don't allow myself to dwell on the thought before I grasp what I'm doing, and I am already seizing the handle of Ryota's knife and turning the blade, shoving it with force, more force than I'd ever expected in my life, driving the tip right through his abdomen. His body jerks like a rag doll, but not a word passes his lips. The only sound I hear is the squelch of tissue and organs against metal. For a moment there's silence, broken only by distant flares of police sirens. His grip loosens and his weight falls onto my shoulder, driving my arm painfully against the railing. A ragged whisper drifts to my ear. Such is our lot, Yama Ishimoto. We are a disappointment. Then, with sudden strength, he grips my shoulders and tumbles over the railing, pulling me with him. My stomach lurches at the terrifying grasp of gravity as we plummet to the school pool below, falling from the school roof seized by a serial killer. This is what my existence has been. One struggle for life after another, a constant misstep, wandering into the one direction. Now left with two innocent teenagers, broken and bleeding, their minds irreparable even if their bodies are not. A man, once intelligent, once admirable, now driven mad, a knife fixed into his stomach. A clean and polished school pool ruined forever by a legacy of violence. And who knows how many lives shattered. The air tears at my face and clothes screaming past my ears. Ryota's blood flies from his wound, coating the front of my jacket. Ah, that's right. I stabbed someone. We crash into the pool with stinging force. Tendrils of blood disperse into the chlorine water like spider silk. Ryota's iron grip on my shoulder loosens at the impact. Bubbles gurgle from his lips, brushing past my face as they pop into the surface. I'm no longer holding the knife, but I still feel some form of weight of its handle between my fingers. This is what I've done. For a moment, I let myself drift into the water. There's no point in swimming up to the surface, really. Wouldn't it be easier to just drift away? Come back up to the world and I'll face a long hospital trip, a court case, catching up on essays about second wave world civilizations and worksheets on deriving trigonomic theorems. Take the exams, go to some university, major something or other, get the white-collar job, marry, have kids, die. All this after trashing another human being's system to a pulp. Someone who might not recover physically, someone who will never recover emotionally. Is there even a point? Existential nihilism, the belief that there's nothing, no value, nothing to life. I vaguely remember being terrified of the notion when I first heard about it in class. Most people just laughed it off. How stupid, how depressing, life has no purpose. Whoever that made that up has issues. But it was too close to me. Living a life of homework, keeping my head down and going through each day wondering where I was and what I was doing. Maybe I've been trying too hard to find meaning where there is none. Maybe I've desperately grasped for straws to find some kind of significance in an inconsequential existence. From a strictly technical point of view, this is not the time to be thinking philosophical thoughts, being at the bottom of a pool, just an arm's reach away from a serial killer, probably with only 30 seconds left before I run out of breath and start drowning. Any sensible person would leave the Socrates session for another day and wait until all basic needs are met first. Guess I'm not as sensible as I thought. Either that, or I can't bring myself to be. You can lead a student to air, but you can't make him breathe. That's how the saying should go. Maybe I should just sleep. I suddenly feel so tired. Hospital room? Clear? I think I've been here before. Clear! That's right. This is a familiar road. There's a sign at an intersection, I think. It's rickety and rusted, worn from use. There's no words on it, just two arrows, one pointing forward and one pointing backward. Clear! I just like to stay here. Fork in the road is such a dangerous thing. Left, right, a one-time decision. And if it turns out that you run into an obstacle, then you'll find yourself wishing that you made the other choice. Then, don't you start overthinking everything? Clear! There it is. What if I had taken the other road? What if the other road was worse? What if there was another road and if I'd only looked at her? What if I hadn't taken a roll at all? What if I had gone backwards? Clear! Two roads diverge in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And that has made all the difference. A poem written by Robert Frost, originally intended to be a simple teasing joke, a hint of playful satire at indecision. But people saw it as something else. Even though they weren't poets, they started adding their own kinds of verses to the composition. Independence, individualism, science, discovery, curiosity, free will, and human condition. Poor Robert Frost, suddenly he had written an entirely different poem without touching his pen. Two roads diverge in a wood, and I took. Clear! Medical room. Heavily medicated. Doctor, anytime he's coherent, he thrashes around. We have to sedate him every time. How long? 2 weeks. The record? Here, sir. I assume that when he screams for her, he's referring to the other patient. We think so, sir. But she's still recovering with therapy. We haven't been able to get her in here. What's her progress? She's starting to speak again after the parents came with the photo album. We're also hoping that the daily fresh air will help her walk. And what about her arm? Psychosomatic, like her legs. We'll be monitoring it over therapy. I'm looking up psychosomatic just because I really want to know what it means. Psychosomatic. Caused or aggravated by a mental factor such as internal conflict or stress. Relating to interaction of mind and body. So when something physical fucks with your psyche, it's a psychosomatic. Nice. Did you know that one, Jess? Calling out a single person in the percolating township. Fuck it. Discord. We'll be monitoring her over therapy. Good. She'll likely be our fastest ticket to his recovery. But it might be a while before Miss Hayata is able to. Hey. Ah, Mr. Ishimoto, are you awake? Can you see me? Really? Mr. Ishimoto, can you tell me? Where's really? Where did you take her? She's supposed to be here. Safe. Hold him down. Show me, really. My own two eyes. Tight as a Pam. Give her back. Give her. And I'm under. Da da da. Here comes a candle to the light. Here comes a candle to light you to the bed. Here comes a chopper to chop off your head. Chip, chop, chop. Chip, chop, chip, chop. That's last man's dead. Sometimes I really wonder about children's nursery rhymes. Why do we let young kids listen to such twisted ideologies? Children aren't supposed to deal with that kind of stuff. They're supposed to be innocent. Supposed to be innocent. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down. My world suddenly feels warm. What is that? Why is that happening? I suddenly get the impression that I'm awake. I think someone's holding my hand. The tips of my fingers feel warm, like they're being cradled in a loving palm. Everything else is blinding light that drills into the back of my eyes. Home is here. Home. Finally got to visit you. I'm sorry for the wait. I had to go through therapy sessions to start talking again. I know that the whole thing's over thanks to you, but whenever I close my eyes, Well, I guess I'm really thankful that the doctors could help me. I just hope that'll be the same for you. Well, I'll let you rest up. You'll need a lot of it. Oh, and this whole thing? Doctors say I'll be out in a week. Apparently it's all in my head. It's apparently all in my head. Honestly though, a wheelchair's not that bad. I feel kind of like royalty. You know how they had those what are they called? Sedans? And they got carried around all the time? I guess it feels like that. Oh, and Yama, I love I love laughing at your grades. So hurry up and get well, dummy. I dream a little longer. My dreams are softer now, a little more delicate, like lace instead of sandpaper. Oh. I see a young kid grasping for the hand of his older sister. In another world, the kid grows up to be more confident, more assured. He learns how to deal with bullies so that he won't bother his sister. He learns how to study hard and makes friends and plays soccer like all the boys his age. He doesn't withdraw, lost in his room. He doesn't keep to himself on the playground. He's a happy young boy who turns into a happy teenager. He goes to the prestigious middle school in the area, the academy, to follow his sister's footsteps. Because his family never left the city. His family never fled to a suburban little town 3 hours away from Isamu. His family stayed because in this other world, there was never an event that had to do with a bus, a blizzard, a loose tread, and a frozen weather. So the young boy also stayed. Maybe he meets a lively orange-haired young girl at his middle school. Maybe he befriends her because she's lovable, bright, and impossible to dislike. Or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he falls in with a different crowd. A sea of faces that play soccer and grab ramen on snowy days and study in the library when it's raining. Either way, he flourishes, loves his life, maybe dates once or twice. He studies hard for college entrance exams and passes the classes with flying colors in the other world. He makes it into the university of his dreams. He studies something that he loves, graduates, finds a girl, get married. Maybe she has already, or maybe she doesn't. He finds a good job. He has kids. Smiles like an idiot when his daughter wraps her fingers around his pinky. He'll name her after his sister, the one who's alive and well, who married a decent guy and had kids of her own. Then that boy, who turned into a teenager, who turned into a man, will wake up one day and he'll be happy. He'll be whole, and he'll be wondering if this was all there was to life. My eyes peel open, sluggish. I'm actually kind of tearing up a bit. This shit's hitting. This shit's hitting! My eyes peel open, sluggish, like they haven't done so for a decade. My muscles feel weak and lifeless, stupid, spindled slugs on a sidewalk. My throat's dry and my head is smarting. So looks like I'm in the hospital. I notice that a nurse is at my bedside, filling with the IV drip on the table. She seems tired. Drawn eyes? Tight frown? I clear my throat to get her attention. Excuse me. The words eject in a queasy croak. The nurse jumps at the raw noise, but relaxes when she notices me. Oh, wonderful, you're awake. Her voice is chipper, but I notice how she eyes me with caution, like I'll lunge out of bed and strangle her if she makes any sudden move. Do you remember your name? Yama Ishimoto. Good. Do you remember how you got here? By ambulance, I'd assume? I wheeze and drive laughter. Everything seems funny. The nurse eyes me for a minute, then presses the intercom. Doctor, the patient's awake. Can you speak with him? They give me a basic physical exam, followed by physical inventory. I give all the answers I think correct and expect my imminent release. I'm ready to get back to my life. Instead, they take me to a room with a plush couch and a contemporary lamp. There, a man sits in an armchair and he tries to tell me about my life. Therapy. I've been through it so many times. It's gotten quite old over the years. I'm so familiar with the proceedings that I resign myself to playing mind games with the therapist. Can I predict before he asks? Can I redirect his questions? But it's not such a smooth and humorous process. Therapy makes me recall everything. Breaking limbs with a pipe. My own two hands. Driving myself insane. Stabbing someone in the gut. During the first session, I black out. They tell me later that I crumpled into a ball and refused to respond to anything until Rui came. Rui, now out of her wheelchair. She's been in the hospital for 2 months, she said. Rui holds my hand in the next session. I squeeze it until I'm afraid that I'll snap her fingers, just like I snapped those bones. She whispers, "You're innocent, don't worry. It was Ryota's fault, you were a victim." I still feel blood on my hands. Whenever the sessions are over, I go to the bathroom and wash my hands once, twice, 5 times over. It still runs slick and steady over my wrists and into my forearms when I exit the bathroom. I stop speaking for a few days. There's nothing to talk about. I have too many sounds to remember. Too much cacophony thrumming in the space between my ears. Sorry, I didn't know that word. I apologize, I'm dumb. Rui sits by me, feeds me when I have no strength to lift the spoon, pulls the covers to my chin like my mom should have done. She tells me stories, a princess and a knight, a detective and a bar singer, a celebrity and an unfortunate grocer. Some days I sit and hold her and watching her dance as she paints imagery canvases with her words. Speaking so much tires her out quickly. Sometimes she nods off in the middle of a sentence, so I lean my head on her shoulder and listen to the even rhythm of her breath. It's softer than the discord in my brain. Sometimes it lulls me to sleep too. Then comes the session where I remember everything, every last bit, and I lose consciousness again. They say that they found me standing on the hospital rooftop leaning against the banister with my arms spread wide, as if I was welcoming the city into the warm embrace. They instantly rushed me down, terrified that I'd try to kill myself. Calm down, I said. My smile was distant. I was just enjoying the view. They didn't believe me, so I'm confined to my room for a while. No one is allowed to see me except Rui. Not even my own parents. They say it's because I didn't react well to their presence when I was delirious. So like the beast with his beauty, I'm holed up in a hospital room, counting the days until I can pass the psychology inventory. Rui brings gifts from others, envelopes and gifts, wrap boxes, and orange and overly large bags that could have been funded by Yahako's purse. That could only have been funded by Yahako's purse. They're nice and the thought is touching, but I tell Rui to return them all. I plan on staying here, keeping the blood on my hands in one room. Rui cries every time, a heartbreaking, frustrating kind of crying, as she punches me in the shoulder and yells that it's not my fault, it's Ryota's, why can't I get that through my head? But even if my brain agrees, my hands remember the scratchiness of the pipe, the vibration of each terrible impact, the oozing, sinking feeling of a knife sinking the flesh. So I can only kiss her on the forehead and thank her for staying with me. She doesn't blush, she doesn't even look remotely embarrassed. In fact, I think that the gesture only makes her angrier. We're gonna make you well, Yama, she screams this out of the window, like some kind of oath. You're gonna be just fine. I attend more sessions, stay isolated from my families and friends. My parents pay for sessions, but I see nothing more than more of them. Legally, they're allowed to see me, but they don't insist. They probably don't really want to see me anyway. They haven't for years. More days slip by. I wonder if our friends have moved on with their lives, gone back to school, prepared for university exams, started dating. When I start speaking again, I ask Rui how long we've been at the hospital. 2 months and 2 weeks, she says. Is that it? It feels so much longer. I continue sessions, go for walks, eat hospital food. I think I start to heal because the world feels a little less empty with each passing day. It's not my fault. I decided to say this to the mirror every morning, even if I don't believe it. Maybe if I say it enough, maybe I'll raise my chin and put my hands on my hips. Maybe if I act like I believe it, then I'll believe it. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. I stare into the reflection, meaningless words pouring from my lips. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's most broken of them all? It seems to whisper back, broken you may be, young man, but I see one broken more still. Someone with nothing but blood in his eyes and no person to love. Someone who fell into darkness until one day, to ease his pain, he had suddenly become a serial killer. Mirror, mirror, couldn't I have just become that man myself? In another world, a boy damaged by an accident, growing up alone and reserved with nothing but the shadows as his constant companion. That boy could grow up into a twisted teenager who could have grown into a twisted man. But I think I understand. None of that happened. What more do I need to worry about? Maybe I disfigured an innocent student. Maybe I stabbed a human being. Maybe I took part in a nightmare that never should have been dreamt. But in this world, in these circumstances, I'm not a twisted, lonely little boy. I grew up showered with love, surrounded by friends, given an ordinary school life. The me standing here and now wouldn't voluntarily lift a pipe or a knife to hurt somebody without purpose. Because I'm not anyone else. Eventually, I stopped talking to my reflection. I stopped washing my hands every half hour. I feel at peace, I think. At the very least, I stopped blacking out. Rui says that it's been 3 months since our hospitalization. Isamu's now deep in hold in summer, with a blazing July sun and humid forest wind. School is probably back in season. It doesn't stop us from receiving gifts, cards, letters, candy. Rui gets swamped by them, of course. Surprisingly, even I receive a few. This time, I return them for a different reason. Not because I plan on cutting off outer contact, but because I plan on seeing them in person. The both of us go through more psychological tests. This time, they seem happy with our responses, because they finally open the doors. I don't expect visitors, to be honest. Although I'm no longer bedridden after talking walks around the hospital wing, I expect that the others have gone on with their lives. 3 months is a long time in a hurried pace of a student. But to my surprise, the moment that the hospital lifts my quarantine, 2 figures race into the room in a blur. Minion! It's Yakuko and Masato dressed in their school uniform. It's Yakuko and Masato dressed in their school uniforms. They're practically bursting with energy. That was almost a tear of happiness. God damn it. Ah! Fuck. God damn it, Sakai Projects! Damn it! It's Yakuko and Masato bursting into the energy. For some reason, seeing them brings tears to my eyes. Damn near same here. Embarrassed, I turn away. Dude, the past 3 months have felt like forever. I can't believe that this happened. I guess I can't still remember. You didn't go back to school the other day, and no one knew where you were, and Rui wasn't talking about you. Then suddenly, no one could find Rui, and no one could find you, and... A hint of this mask comes crumbling down. For the first time, I see Yakuko's face twist into true pain. I was thinking that you guys would be gone, just like Haru, Shoji, Akane. He grits his teeth, shuddering. All I can do is awkwardly pat him on the shoulder. I've always known that each of Mr. Ryota's victims were connected to Yakuko, but for some reason I never actually considered what that had did to Yakuko. It's amazing, really. How could Yakuko even stay standing? How could he still smile, still laugh, even as people he knew were dying? I'd always looked at him of kind of weak and more than kind of stupid, but it would look like he's actually stronger than any of us. He was even right there as the scene of Soji's death, and saw him die with his own eyes. At the time, the scene looked suspicious, but now I think about it, wasn't Yakuko just trying to prevent a suicide? Wasn't that why I found Shoji in the river? I almost want to ask about it, but something tells me Yakuko's had enough. Well, I'm okay, apparently. Yakuko stills, his mouth turning into a forced smile. Yeah, I guess so. But still, I didn't do anything. What could you do? You didn't even know where we were. Yako's eyes shift from side to side. He clears his throat. Masato's eyebrows tighten slightly, but he says nothing. Actually, Shigure called us. What? Well, I mean, technically, I guess it was after the fact, but still. We needed to know why you were hospitalized, so we kind of just piled on a bunch of questions. She explained everything, the cases, your investigations. She said we deserve to know. Shigure told them? Why would Shigure tell them? It simply doesn't make sense. At the very least, she would be wasting her time. Beyond that, she'd be spilling confidential info with no clear purpose. So, well, we told Akira and Misaki, since Akira's the best friend of Rui, and Misaki knows you both. And Elizabeth ended up overhearing, and apparently Shigure had told Ari, we visited you a few times, but you either knocked out or you started thrashing around. And then they kicked us out entirely. So that's why they stayed so worried. That's why they were so persistent with the gifts. I guess it's not every day that one of your friends tries to fight a serial killer. A smile of gratitude tugs at my lips, and I feel a little warmer inside. They really cared a lot for us, didn't they? Thanks, Yahako. Yahako only nods mutely. I glance at Masato, only to find that he's still stewing. Come to think of it, he hasn't said a word. Masato? Damn it! Yahako and I jump at Masato's sudden exclamation. I'm slacking for dumber! The foot is dumber and dumber! I don't know why I feel like he needs to turn into like a Southern American when he's really not, but what? He quietly slightly speaking through gritted teeth. I was stupid blind. I didn't see nothing but myself. I'm real sorry, man. Wait, where's this coming from? Honestly, I'm just surprised to see him here. It wasn't fair to you, man. Was throwing a tantrum like a little hibaki. Saying all those words, not listening to you, it was something only a shacking full dumber would do. Should've asked what was going on instead of assuming everything. Oh, his apology catches me off guard. Well, thanks, but he was right. Just after you told me to be nice to Rui, I treated her like trash. Maybe he could sense it coming. Maybe he saw that something was wrong with me. Wait. Now that I'm paying more attention, I notice Masato's hair is damp. Not only that, but there's a faint smell of chlorine. Masato, were you just swimming? Huh? Well, yeah, I guess. Technically it's summer, and technically it's pretty normal to be swimming, but something churned slowly in my brain. Disused, but still keen. Well, you know, all you talk about is track. Yama's probably tired of hearing it by now. But I don't know. But I don't just run. I can swim too, and do basketball. Masato can swim. In fact, he could swim well. Masato's incredibly athletic. And the last person who I'd spoken to before I'd seen Shoji drowning in the river, before I almost drowned, had been Masato. He could have easily hauled Shoji and me to shore even if we were both hopeless at swimming. Odd, it was 3 months ago, but each memory feels as vivid as yesterday. Vibrant, full of life. Guess I should seize the moment. Did you save us? Save who now? Me and Shoji, from drowning 3 months ago. Oh. That's a definite yes. That's not like he'd forget saving 2 people from drowning, even if it was 3 months ago. Wait, you guys almost drowned? We didn't. Thanks, Masato. Yako's face twists for a moment. And for one terrible second, I think he's about to cry. And then... Did you see a mermaid? Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. Now, my good minion, this is a very important question. You must answer. There was a mermaid, wasn't there? Beautiful, with long hair, and a voice that sounds like a really nice voice. To answer or not to answer? And why not? Well, she sung just like you. Really? She must have been amazing. It was definitely worthy of awe. I knew it! The hell are you saying, Yama? There wasn't no mermaid! What? The overdramatic gasp is punctuated with a very long silence. And then Masato snorts. I chuckle. Yahako giggles, and pretty soon the three of us are collapsed on the ground, rolling with uncontrollable laughter. My sides ache and my chest heaves, and every possible muscle on every possible limb is protesting with a sore ache. But it feels good, like the stress is just melting out of my body. Finally, we pick ourselves up, bursting at our ears. Good to see you're still with us, man. Might want to take a rest, cause there's a lot of people waiting to talk with you. You're almost as famous as I am. Wait, what? Later, man. Rest up, good minion. I'm putting you to work the moment you recover. Wait, what do you mean that I'm... But they've already skipped out of the room, leaving me completely bewildered. I wait for another visitor, but my door doesn't open again. Maybe people are coming later? It would be nice after talking with Masato and Yahako. Everything feels normal. Kind of like the world after being knocked off, of course. Not being knocked off, of course. Has found its bearings again. Da-da-da. On your feet, soldier! I already know who this is! Yuck! Of course! Nailed it! I startle out of my beauty sleep to find Akira, Ari, and Elizabeth are seated in chairs next to my bed. For a moment, my groggy mind scrambles to piece together reality. Right, hospital, they must be visiting me. Oh hey, it actually worked! But he seems a bit disoriented. Well, we simply can't have that, can we? Sick him, Ari! Huh? Or don't. Elizabeth clears her throat and arches an eyebrow in my direction. So, Yama Ishimoto. So, Elizabeth Oshiro. She suddenly lurches to her feet, glaring darkly at me. I want to know what the bloody hell you were thinking and when you decided to do something so balmy. Going to face a known serial killer alone, unarmed? What were you planning to do? Sneeze on him? Her chiding catches me off guard, but it doesn't grate on my nerves. It actually seems caring in the weirdest way. It is unavoidable. Yama is the protagonist. Someone knows the fourth wall. Precisely! It's exactly something that, say, the main character of a novel would do. Guys, you could have asked. You don't have to suck your own dick. I could have done that for you. I'm playing this game right now, aren't I? I could have done that for you. Come on now. Fallen Snow, I could have done that. Come the fuck on. No sucking your own dick. I got it, fam. Autofellatio over here. Well, this isn't a bloody novel. Is she right or wrong right now? Fuck it. Correct. It's a visual. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm so far dead. Da-da-da-da. You know what? I'm not even going to ask. Yeah, that one's even beyond me. I relax against my pillows. The energetic presence lights up the room. I hadn't realized how much I missed just being an ordinary kid, hanging out with friends and getting ready to university until now. Right, ordinary life. Friends. I could just talk about normal stuff. Stupid stuff. I clear my throat awkwardly, struggling for words. So, how's school been? Wait. You're asking about school? Who are you and what have you done with Yama Ishimoto? Well, it's a welcome break from thinking about serial killers. Oh my god. You speak the truth. She turns to Elizabeth as if deferring to authority. Elizabeth smiles appreciatively. Well, the Academy's been fighting it off as long as possible, but they were finally forced to shut down just today, actually. The public scandal was too much for them to bribe off, apparently. The police are currently conducting an investigation to see how deep this murder scheme goes, and why it seems to center around Yahako Ikari. Before I can stop it, my brain automatically kicks into investigation mode. Have they found anything yet? Unfortunately, no. It's unusual, actually, how clean and tidy these killings are. There's no ties to any faculty, no apparent motive, no links to any accomplices, and Mr. Ryota has gone off his trolley from the moment he's been apprehended. Nothing he says makes any sense. I briefly recall a discussion about the Aztec gods and blood rituals. It seems so far away. Yeah, I'm not very surprised. But why could he mask his insanity so well while he was in a dorm manager? It was practically a personality change. Hey, Elizabeth, Yama's supposed to be resting from that. It's fine, Akira. This is important stuff. Nope, you need to rest. Rudy's orders. I can rest as much as I want later. Isn't the academy closed? Actually, there's an interesting story behind that, too. Akira expels an exasperated sigh, but I'm already honed in on Elizabeth's words. What do you mean? Don't you find it odd that there are no reporters hovering around? That you haven't received a single request for an interview? Maybe I'm not cute enough. Oh, for the love of... They haven't been around Rui's room either. Well, when she puts it that way, it's definitely suspicious. I would have thought that this kind of juicy scandal would draw reporters like carrion birds to a corpse. So there's no news coverage. They cover Mr. Ryota's killing spree and arrest, but there's nothing on the closure of the academy. It's as if the National News Network is simply ignoring the fact that it all happened at school. Wait, what? But the job of the news is to inform the people. One would hope, but in this case, there's not a peep from them. Sober silence falls over the room. No news for closing the academy. Come to think of it, the NNN used to cover the murders extensively, but I haven't seen much from them recently, or maybe that's just because I don't watch the news much. Well, we should get going. You need to rest up. She reaches out a hand as if to pat me on the shoulder, but suddenly withdraws it, looking away. Bye. She quickly runs out of the room. Elizabeth snorts, but her features eventually soften into, dare I say, admiration. Rescuing Rui was an admirable feat, Yama Ishimoto. Utterly batty perhaps, but admirable. With these parting words, she turns on one heel and strides away. Ari's the only one left, her gaze fixated on me, almost like she's examining an alien specimen. What is it? Nothing. Goodbye. And soon enough, my room is completely empty. That was unusual. I settled back into my blankets, turning over Elizabeth's news in my mind. No coverage? No buzz? Sure, the last thing I'd want is for a bunch of clamoring reporters to tear up the hospital, but it concerns me that such a big crime is essentially going uncovered. But why? It simply doesn't make sense. No sense at all. I wake up on my own this time. I fully expect the room to be vacant, to be accompanied only by the ticking of the clock, to be utterly silent, but instead I'm greeted with the sight of a girl seated in a chair beside me. Wait, not a girl. Woman. Shigure? She doesn't even look up from... Is that a book she's reading? No, files. Long files, apparently. Ah, Ishimoto, you're awake. Or sleep talking? Highly improbable. I smirk at that. Even Shigure seems to be smiling. So what brings you to my humble abode? Shouldn't you be working? Ryota has already been apprehended. I see no further need my presence in this precinct. What? Really? Shigure's eyebrows gives the barest twitch of irritation. Or is there more to that story? Like maybe, I don't know. They officially considered the case closed, so you're no longer granted access to the investigation? Bullseye. It's kind of strange. Aren't you the reason they managed to get Ryota in the first place? I expected her to explode into a fit of intricate insults, but instead she hunches over as if a large weight is bearing down on her shoulders. These are unusual movements in Isamu, Ishimoto. Something is stirring beneath the surface, something bigger than any of us could ever imagine. And I'm the chosen one, born to master the 5 elements and take down the ultimate evil in this world? Good Avatar reference. Absolutely not. Then maybe the shining sword of the chosen one? Oh please, at best you're a blunt arrow, sharper than the average rock, but only just... Ouch! Can you give me back the Shigure from 3 months ago? I liked her better. I'm afraid she will never make another appearance. But when she snaps the file shut, her smirk softens into a genuine smile. It is good that you do not die, Ishimoto. Although I am uncertain of its relevance, I told myself that as soon as you were coherent, I might relate the story to you. What's that supposed to mean? You may have noticed my certain unusual reaction to your phone call. I knew you wouldn't believe me. You never needed me as an assistant in the first place. I wouldn't have. believed you? But you didn't even try. I would have believed you. I would. If you had just trusted, I would. I remember this conversation. Continue. Now that you mention it, I had never seen Shiguri that emotional. Not even when we ran into Natsuki. I really thought Natsuki had something more to do with this, TBH. Also, I am very interested to see how the fuck she plays into the rest of this shit, if we get information. Or is she just gonna be a Deus Ex? She just existed to give information to make the story catalyst. Nonetheless, I don't know. We'll find that out later on as we finish this shit, because we're doing that. For time's sake, as well as for your sake of your interest, I shall keep my tale short. Despite her confident start, she gives a marked pause before she continues. I get the feeling that she hasn't talked about her story very often. Somehow the idea makes me feel special. I was difficult to get along with in my youth. Only in your youth, I think automatically, but I keep my mouth shut. Most decided to keep their distance from me. As a method of coping, I kept the books. Into an occasional burst of ridiculous vocabulary, I guess. For the most part, the majority of my peers were insane and superficial. Losing their acquaintance was no losses. However, one day, a boy approached me. The very traits that others hated so much about me, he found fascinating. Huh? He became my truest friend over time. I have few memories apart from him. We decided to engage in matrimony as we studied in the university. After, of course, we found stable jobs. I finished my schooling within 2.5 years, at which point I began my detective agency. Wait, 2.5 years? That sounds crazy. She must have taken max units, enrolled in classes over interim, study without breaks. I continue to forget water's necessity. I dearly loved my field of study and greatly look forward to my field of work. Aside from the late nights, it was no difficulty. Somehow I find that hard to believe. At any rate, one of my first cases was to work in conjunction with the police. There was particularly vicious triple murder closely related to the families of the betrothed. He put forward a suspect. I believed his mind to be clouded by emotion and disregarded it. So he left and found another detective. I winced at the idea. That really must have hurt her pride. Shiguri noticed my reaction and raises an eyebrow. It was a sore betrayal, Shimoto. My pride was not only the only aspect in pain. It may be akin to Rui losing trust in you, even though you thought that she, of all people, would continue to support you. Just the thought sends me reeling. I quickly decide not to consider it again. The suspect that my betrothed put forward was eventually, as I suspected, found to be innocent. Except, no sooner after receiving his verdict, the alleged innocent man tracked my betrothed's residence and, she pauses. The edges of her expression crumple, but she's holding strong. There was another murder that day, one I could not handle. Oh. All I wished for was to take back my actions. I wish that he had believed in me, and that I had believed in him. So when I had run around by myself, when I planned by facing Ryota by my own initiative, no wonder she was so panicked. A repeat in history, a sickening time loop. Shiguri doesn't deserve that. I raced over that period, but fuck it. Thank you for telling me. She only shrugs wordlessly. It may help your resolve when it comes to Rui. Learn from my mistakes, Hashimoto. This is my greatest instruction. What do you mean? What does that have to do with Rui? Leave no regrets. That is all I mean. No regrets? Is she telling me to start dating Rui just like everyone else? The thought seems odd, kind of trivial. Maybe the past 3 months contribute to that. Shiguri notes my uneasy expression and stands to her feet somewhat abruptly. Regardless, there are other matters I must see to, but you have earned a well-deserved rest, as well as this. She extends a flat white envelope to me, stamped with pay stub? Wait, what's this? Your pay. I dare say, it's deserved. But you never said you'd pay me. I mentioned it multiple times, actually. You simply did not listen. She pauses. She pushes the envelope in my hand. My fingers numbly accept it. Wow, thanks. It's unexpectedly generous of her. Farewell, Hashimoto. Rest up. She whisks out of the room, leaving me with the envelope. Well, I'd never thought that she'd actually pay me. She didn't seem like the type. Hesitantly, I tear the envelope open and unfold the sheet of paper. Inside is an official-looking invoice with 3 printed lines, accompanied by a scribbled note. Income! 100,000 yen! Theme park tickets, 100,000 10 yen. Debt, 110,000 yen, sorry. Debt, 10,000 yen. However, as my magnanimity knows no bounds, I shall bewittingly waive your debt. S.E. Dot, dot, dot. Dot, 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 dot. I already did the laughing part. We're not doing that again. I totally should have seen this coming. Very well, Ishiyama. Let us depart. Really? And you're paying for everyone? Oh yes, with your future wages. I should have known something was up the moment Shigure started complimenting me. Nevertheless, I'm chuckling to myself, even as I slip the pay stub back into the envelope. That's definitely more like Shigure. Still grinning, I settle back in for some more sleep. I note with satisfaction that the heaviness in my limbs is much less substantial than before. I love the story and all, but I'm starting to get to the point where I'm like, I just need an ending now. I wait to a soft knock at the door. Huh? Someone actually knocked? Who'd have thought? Come in. Forgot, Misaki, we didn't talk to her yet. Shit, okay. More story. This time, it's Misaki who slips through the door. She wordlessly walks over to my side and embraces me. I stiffen awkwardly at her touch. Mickey? I'm so glad you're okay, Yama. When I heard they were allowing visitors, I rushed here as soon as I could. I was starting to think I would never see you again. She drops off into silence for a moment. I feel her fingers clutch at my hospital gown. Komasato told me about the investigation and your involvement with the case. Yeah, sorry for not telling you. You didn't have to. I just wanted to say that you did well, Yama. The simple words make my throat swell. Before I can respond, she releases me, settling into the chair nearest my bed. I immediately take note of the stress weighing on her features. She looks a lot more tired than I remember. Something wrong? It's just something about the case still worries me. Have you heard about the recent uproar in Patter? Can't say that I have. Well, it seems the murders caused a political firestorm. People are angry at how the government handled the incident. Wait, why is the government getting backlash? Aren't the murders a local issue? Misaki shakes her head. After this re-election last week, Mayor Nori held a press conference. According to the reports, Mr. Yoda was an immigrant. Not many are happy that a foreigner was able to murder innocent civilians within their borders, so the mayor blamed Japan's government for granting amnesty to undocumented workers to compensate for the financial crash in 2007. He even proposed for Isamu to break away from this country's incompetence by becoming an independent state. I can only remain stunned in silence at this revelation. Mayor Inori is using the murders as a political platform. With all the attention revolving around Ryota, why is the Academy being excluded from the media? Do you know if they mentioned the Academy at all? They haven't. That's what worries me the most. It's almost as if she trails off, seemingly lost in thought. As if what? As if they were trying to as if someone were attempting to cover up the school's involvement. A cover-up. I know it's a bit of a stretch, but listen to this. She retrieves her phone from her pocket. Remember how the Academy has quite a few sponsors? Isn't that why it's so prestigious, career day and all? Exactly. So I figure, why were they afraid of people knowing that they were affiliated with the school who hired a murderer? Then how were they able to censor the media? That I still don't know. She says this dejectedly, sinking into her seat. Yama, yeah? Aren't you angry? Angry? Mr. Yoda? At the media? At the fate? You didn't deserve any of this. You had already gone through so much. And yet it happened anyway. She clenches her fist, an uncharacteristic shadow unveiling across her face. Maybe she's right. Maybe I should be angrier. But all I feel right now is just relief. Everyone's safe. That's all that matters to me. I see. She expels a heavy sigh. Seeing this and distraught, it's a little unsettling to say the least. I guess these past few months haven't been easy on anyone, even Misaki. I have to check a thing, I'm sorry. She shouldn't be fretting over entrance exams or modeling stints or social... Oh my. Okay. She shouldn't be fretting over entrance exams or modeling stints or social drama. Not over... She should be fretting over these things, not over friends almost being murdered. This somber thought prompts me to ask her about school. Since the academy's closed, do you know where you'll be transferring? No. She shifts in her eyes and tells me that she hasn't given it much thought. Have you been studying at least? Aren't the university entrance exams coming up soon? Who are you, my teacher? I'll take that as a no. School hasn't been my top priority lately. It never has been, to be honest. So you're not worried about getting into university? Not really. Now that I think about it, she never explicitly said so she was planning to attend. So what are you doing after high school? The words slip from my mouth before I'm able to grasp what I just said. How ironic, I never expected to be the one asking this question. I don't know. What about modeling? As much as I enjoy it, I don't think I'm fit for it. Why not? I thought you loved your job. I do, but... She averts her gaze, twirling her phone between her fingertips. I went into this business for the wrong reason. I thought it was an opportunity to experience something new, you know? I thought it would be easy. But it's not, and I can't cope with the stress. I can't focus. I'm always irritable. Tell me what company would want someone like that. Mickey, you're not. But it's true, Yama. You've seen it. I never really think these things through. I just don't know what to do anymore. As strange as it seems, Misaki seems genuinely concerned. I take a moment to really consider her situation. Misaki, I know, couldn't care less about failing as long as she had fun doing what she wanted. That's all that mattered to her. If you really love being a model, then keep doing it. If you lose interest in that, then you could always try something else. For a moment, Misaki's expression is unreadable. I'm afraid I've said something extremely cheesy, but she flashes me a bright smile. Wise words from an old man. But she's a year older than me. Thank you, Yama. Don't mention it. For some reason, the sincerity in her voice flushes me. Usually, she's the one giving me these types of pep talks. I suppose I should let you rest. I still need to speak with Rui. I'm sure you'll be alright. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Mickey. Of course. Rest well, Yama. After flashing one last smile, she strides out the door. It was surprising to see Misaki so anxious, but then again, it's only natural considering everything that's happened. The academy is being excluded from the media. The citizens are fed up with the government. Mayor Nori is calling for sovereignty. It seems change is imminent for Samu. The fact that the murders have garnered so much attention on the scale still boggles my mind. Not wanting to dwell on it for too long, I force myself to clear my head. I can think more on this later. For now, I should focus on the people around me. That's probably all I can do. The next visitor comes around an hour after Misaki. She's dressed in her school uniform just like an ordinary student going to an ordinary school, ready to face another long day of ordinary classes and ordinary teachers. The sight is so ordinary that it makes my throat sore. After these past 3 months, after remembering how she dragged me through therapy, after all that she's been through, just looking at her makes me hopeful with life will one day return to normal. She kicks back in the chair by my bed, and face shining with a typical grin. Morning, lazy head. Morning, what's with the uniform? I don't know. I kind of missed it after a while. Come again? It's not all that bad. I mean, being forced to wear it kind of sucks, but when you don't have to wear it anymore, it feels weird. Like, hey, I'm still a second year. I still have another 365 days before I become an old foggy. I flick her in the forehead with a mocking frown. Who are you calling an old foggy? Who do you think? Are you sure you want to stick with that statement? What's that supposed to mean? You know, being an old foggy is a pretty good life. I get killer discounts, I don't have to work, I have a free pass to say any offensive thing I want. Oh no, on second thought, never mind. Too late now, I have old person privileges. Heaven help us all. It's a little weird teasing each other like this after what we've been through, but I wouldn't have it any other way. You know, this would kind of function as an amazing segue to a different topic of conversation. Oh no, don't do it. Speaking of old foggies, how are your parents doing? I hate you. I know. She kicks my bed a little, but puttantly responds. Pullantly. They've been visiting over the past few months. They couldn't come in here though because, you know, because I was isolated, because I was unstable. But I could leave to talk with them at any time. They're really thankful. It'd be nice if you can come over for dinner sometime. They'd like to talk to you about something. Anytime. Sounds like we're both going back to Seto. Yeah, since school's closed, they want me to come back home. Probably tomorrow. They visited us earlier. You didn't see them? No, I was probably sleeping. Maybe. Did something happen? Oh, well, you know, Dad said something important happened at work. He probably got caught up in it as usual. Well, that makes sense. Rui bites her lip and meets my gaze. I really think that you should contact your parents. The air grows a little chilly. My fingers dig into the blankets. No need. The hospital probably already has. Okay. We sit in silence for another moment as Rui works to find words to say. Yama? But the door suddenly flies open and familiar faces pour into the room. Yako, Masato, Masaki, Akira, Elizabeth, and Ari all race to my bedside. Perfect timing, Akira. What's the female equivalent of a cock block? A cunt punt? No. I'm gonna have to think on this one. Up, Madam Coach. You are hereby acquitted of all crimes. What? I think she means you're allowed to leave the hospital. And the doctors told you guys this, not me. Come on, man. Only a pansy sits around and twiddles his thumbs when there's work to be done. In other words, you got tired of waiting. Well, technically, my good minion, Yama is officially released, all due to my considerable influence. Uh-huh, I'm sure. Actually, the scary thing is, he's probably telling the truth. I'll really need to ask him about, well, everything, eventually. Hey, get up already. Elizabeth suddenly seizes my arms and pulls me out of bed, shoving a handful of clothes in my face. Get dressed. We've something to show you. The others smile excitedly, poised on the tips of their toes. Rui grins encouragingly. Lead the way. After giving me a few minutes to change into spare uniform, we check out the hospital and clamber into the limousine, supposedly paid for by Yako. The group's in the chatty mood as we wind down to the streets of familiar shopping complex, the Academy. Laughter, jokes, and teasing chase the tension in the air. Chase away the tension in the air. We stop in front of Café de la Plaie, where Yahiko bounds up to the door and opens it with flourish. Huh, deja vu. After you all, my good minions. I'm floored as we step through the door. Colorful streamers and balloons are plastered around a cafe, decorated letters proclaiming "Welcome back, heroes" hanging from the ceiling. It's a stark contrast from the slick and sophisticated furnishing, but it doesn't stop my gratitude. This is for us? I certainly don't see anyone else. You guys. Rui covers her face with her hands. I just... Thank you. It was nothing. Just a couple balloons and streamers. I wanted to rent a dragon, but Elizabeth said that it'd be a fire hazard. Not to mention the minor problem that dragons don't exist anymore. Hey, didn't forget who's paying for all this. Praise me, praise me. Wow, to think that he would actually say that out loud. Thank you for your generosity. Elizabeth says these words plainly and honestly. Could they actually be getting along? But of course, milady, this is pocket change in comparison to the Ikari family treasury. Oh, Jesus, how much money does this nigga have? Elizabeth's good mood quickly falters, but Masaki's eyes light up in realization. Pocket change? Ikari's wealth is insurmountable, lovely maiden. Truly, your generosity is unimaginable. How kind your spirit is to provide our lowly company with a bountiful feast of refreshments. Huh? Wait, refreshments? Ah, yes, so you agree. The hospitality of an Ikari is beyond measure. I shall make certain that all of our followers learn of this. All your followers? Okay, Mickey, that's just evil. That's just amazing, and I'm okay with it. I believe the 8 orders of high tea will be suffice for our party. High tea? Now time to write that, Pat. This is beginning to feel like extortion. Okay, 8 orders of high tea coming right up. The poor soul. I watch with sympathy as he slides over to the counter, attempting to flirt with the server for a discount. Meanwhile, Akira and Elizabeth have dragged 3 tables together and arranged 8 chairs in an even eclipse. Have a seat. Have a seat. We have something special planned. Even more than all this?
Ha! You didn't think we'd just drag your asses all the way out here to drink some plant water, did you?
Elizabeth seems fairly offended at this disparagement of her beloved tea, but remains silent as Masato flings something out of his backpack.
Ta-da!
A heavy, ragged binder lands squarely in the center of the table, stuffed to the brim with stacks of paper. A binder. Ooh, the last time I saw one of those was during the Edo period.
It ain't that old.
We're all surprised when Ari suddenly snatches the binder, flipping through it like a madman. She smiles at the closest thing. She smiles the closest thing I've ever seen to a broad smile from her. It's an RP.
Yeah?
Can I be GM? Her eyes are almost shining. I've never seen her so happy before.
Well, sure, I was gonna do it, but I was gonna do it if no one on it, but...
I want to. Huh, role-playing. Who would have thought? I didn't know you liked board games, Masato.
What? This ain't a board game. This is an artifact of story creation that weaves intricate tales of a hero's development. Me and the boys at home played it all the time. Little Baki had to be healer, though, because he couldn't sustain a good pounding.
I had an ominous feeling about this. How exactly did you play RPGs?
Acted it out, of course. I was supposed to play them.
Oh boy.
Who needs dice anyway? This way, it's all down to skill.
No, dice are imperative. This firm word from Ari shocks us into a brief silence.
Dice are pansy.
Da-da-da. Da-da-da. Da-da-da.
Well, hey, you're GM.
That was frightening. For a moment, I swear that Ari was radiating a death aura. It might be best to get on her good side. Really? It's almost like she's directing the story or some shit. So what should we do first? You must create a character. Wait. I must develop a ward. I must develop a ward lord. Ari narrows her eyes in concentration for a brief moment. Steampunk setting. You are in Eagle Metropolis, a bustling city where clockwork machinery sees your needs and humans find ways to reach the heavens. Your fortunes are blessed, placing you squarely in the middle class. The metropolis is enlightened and thriving. Of this, you are grateful. Please choose one of the following classes. The Knight, a powerful yet cumbersome fighting type. The Heister, a rogue of sly mind and wit with nimble feet and fingers. The Alchemist, a master of magical artifacts and elements with scientific twists. The Doctor, a knowledgeable cleric. Da-da-da-da. Generally for girls. The Musketeer, a champion of firearms. The Engineer, an inquisitive innovator of ingenious inventions. The Entertainer, vulnerable to battle but charming and convincing. Wait, did she really come up with that in just 5 seconds? Wow, that sounds like fun. I don't know what to pick.
Ain't it obvious? There's only one good class.
There we go. Time for Mercenary Masato, the unbelievable fighter.
The Doctor.
Y'all are surprised by that too, right? Just so we're on the same page. Wait, what? Masato, you know the Doctor's a healing type, right?
What? You think I'm an idiot? I've always wanted to be the cleric, but they always made me the fighter.
Well, this is getting interesting. Very well, Masato. Doctor. She doesn't even seem fazed. As for me, I'll be Heister. Sounds exciting. I'll try my hand at the Musketeer. That fits with your aim. She whips in my direction, ready for a snappy comeback. But then I realized that. Then she realizes that I was complimenting her. Oh, thank you.
Her aim was really impressive.
I'll be an entertainer. Oh, so useless? You say that when you were in a foreign nation and the only thing keeping us from chopping block are my liar skills. And entertaining could be really useful. Not that I'll say that aloud. So Doctor, Masato, Heister, Akira, Musketeer, Elizabeth, Entertainer, Rui, Yama, Masaki, and Yahoko remain. Yama, why don't you pick first? Sure. I'll review the list of classes in my head. Logically, we should probably all pick different classes so we're all a balanced group. That leaves me with Alchemist, the Engineer, or the Knight. Being a knight sounds like I'll just have to do a lot of fighting. Being an alchemist sounds really cliche. I guess I'll be an engineer. What do they do exactly? Engineer stuff, of course. Yes, Sakura, so I gathered. In that case, I'll be a knight. What? Not an alchemist? Being an alchemist sounds so boring. Knights are much more heroic and daring. Well, that's no surprise. Now to start. Whoa, hold up. Yako suddenly pops next to me, apparently done ordering the budget-breaking 8 high teas. Masato, my man, I thought we agreed that we didn't need to use pen and paper. We did? Without responding, Yako reaches down into his backpack and displays some things around the table. Merry Christmas, everyone. It isn't Christmas. Fucking hell. Ari! Yako's gifts are site codes, gleaming with the shininess of a newly released project. Where could Yako have gotten these? Technically, they're just prototypes, but they should work amazingly with for all our purposes. As we fit the futuristic spectacles over eyes, Ari taps the table with impatience. Yako, you must pick a class. Class? Well, strategically speaking, you should pick the remaining class, which is the alchemist. Your command is my wish, milady. That's not how that works. What's with the stairs? Am I supposed to come up with a name and a backstory and all that? What's with the stairs? Am I supposed to come up with a name and backstory and all that? Well, if you insist. I'm 0.0017 kilometers tall. Eyes are blue and an Egyptian oasis. As an Egyptian oasis, I was crafted by angels and fell from the heavens. My clothing is skin tight, which helps pronounce my amazing figure. I didn't have to cut that, just so y'all know. The game realized that was bullshit. What strikes you speechless, good minions? My dashing good looks. That's not exactly how I would put it. Hey, I have a great idea. Why don't we get started, Ari? Thank you, Rui. That is not an idea at all. That is not an idea at all, but very well. Our very literal GM proceeds to close her eyes, speaking in a soft rolling tone reminiscent of most skilled storytellers. There's more story in this game than I thought, even after you've beaten the bad guy. So I'm not gonna lie, I have to do things. So I have to cut it. I have to cut it here, which means again there's gonna be another episode of Lucid9. Quite the finale, right? Well, I mean, we got to the good ending. We're in the good ending now. So now anything that we pick is completely on us. But I think that they also let us choose a girl in the end, of course, because visual novels. So I of course want to know who you guys think is best girl. I need to know. I really do. I need to know so I need to know to pick. I didn't think I was going to be doing this another week, but apparently I am. So I'm not mad. I did think that I was going to be able to wrap it up this one, but apparently not. I like the story that's going on, but I'm also very interested just to see what happens. Hopefully the next one won't be as crazy long, but you know what, guys? That's it for this episode of Lucid9 Storytime Saturday. This has been Pergling. It's been real. It's been frustrating. It's been fun. It's been real frustrating and fun, but I will talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out.